Imagine exploring a hidden world, a world of secrecy, a world of limitless potential, a world of cryptocurrencies. This isn't your everyday world, it's a world that exists in the shadows of the internet, where fortunes are made, lost, and sometimes stolen in the blink of an eye. Cryptocurrencies, digital or virtual forms of currency that use cryptography for security, have been the talk of the town since their inception. Their allure lies in their decentralized nature, meaning they are not controlled by any government or central authority. They promise a world where financial transactions are faster, cheaper, and more secure than traditional banking. But like all powerful tools, cryptocurrencies can be used for good and for evil. The potential for misuse is high. The anonymity that cryptocurrencies offer can be a haven for those who wish to move money across borders without detection, for those who trade in illegal goods, or for those who simply want to evade taxes. One infamous instance that perfectly encapsulates this potential for misuse is the Silk Road hack. Silk Road, an online black market on the dark web, was a notorious platform for illegal trade, from drugs to firearms, all paid for with Bitcoin. But in 2012, Silk Road was hit by a massive hack, resulting in the theft of a staggering 51,680 Bitcoins. At the time, this was a huge sum, but in today's market it's a fortune beyond imagination. This hack sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency world, forever changing the way we view the security and integrity of these digital assets. Enter the world of James Zhong, the mastermind behind the Silk Road hack. The Silk Road, a black market on the dark web, was a hub of illegal activities, until it was hacked. Imagine a bustling digital marketplace, a haven for all things illicit, suddenly brought to its knees by a single individual. This was the reality of the Silk Road in the early 2010s. A virtual black market, it was a hub for illegal transactions, fueled by the anonymity of Bitcoin. But as the sun set on another day in the digital underworld, a massive hack was about to shatter this world of shadows. Enter James Zhong, an early developer of Bitcoin, the man who would single-handedly orchestrate the Silk Road hack. A master of his craft, Zhong used his intimate knowledge of the cryptocurrency to exploit the system. Between 2012 and 2014, he managed to steal over 51,680 Bitcoins, an unimaginable fortune from the Silk Road. Zhong was no ordinary hacker, he was a phantom, a ghost in the machine. For nearly 10 years he managed to remain undetected, living a life of luxury off his ill-gotten gains. He achieved this by using cryptocurrency mixers, digital services that jumble transactions to obscure the source of funds, effectively laundering his stolen Bitcoins. But how much exactly did Zhong steal? At the time of his arrest, the Bitcoins seized from his possession were estimated to be worth a staggering $5.5 billion. That's right, billion with a B. To put it into perspective, the US government is one of the largest Bitcoin whales today, thanks to Zhong's seized stash. But the hack was just the beginning. After stripping the Silk Road of its riches, Zhong would spend the next decade playing a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek with the authorities. The hack was just the beginning of a decade-long game of hide-and-seek. James Zhong, living a life of luxury, was the face behind the biggest cryptocurrency theft in history. A skilled developer and cunning strategist, Zhong was the invisible force behind the theft of over 51,000 Bitcoins from Silk Road between 2012 and 2014. His life post the hack was an enviable one, filled with opulence and extravagance, all funded by the stolen cryptocurrency. Zhong was no ordinary criminal, he was an expert at hiding in plain sight. For nearly a decade he managed to conceal his identity from the prying eyes of the authorities. His secret weapon? Cryptocurrency mixers. These are services that jumble up Bitcoin transactions to obscure their origin, making it nearly impossible to trace the Bitcoins back to their source. Living off the stolen Bitcoins, Zhong enjoyed a lifestyle many could only dream of. But beneath the surface of his affluent life, he was always on the run, always looking over his shoulder. In 2019, a simple mistake led to his detection by the IRS, and the life he had built began to crack. But every crime has a price, and for Zhong his time was running out. In 2019, a simple mistake led to the unraveling of James Zhong's secret life. A slip of the hand, a wrong click, a momentary lapse in judgment, and his decade-long operation was exposed. Zhong, an early developer of Bitcoin, was living a life of luxury, paid for by the spoils of his illicit activities. But this life was about to come crashing down around him. The IRS, the United States Tax Collection Agency, had been keeping a close eye on the crypto world. When Zhong made his mistake, they were ready to pounce. The IRS traced the digital breadcrumbs right to Zhong's doorstep. Armed with a warrant, they raided his home, and what they found was staggering. Over 50,000 bitcoins, stolen from Silk Road between 2012 and 2014, were seized. This was one of the largest Bitcoin seizures in history, and it all belonged to one man. But Zhong's story doesn't end there. After his arrest, he chose to cooperate with the investigators. He forfeited all of his ill-gotten bitcoins and pled guilty to wire fraud. His cooperation was likely a bid to reduce his sentence, but the damage had been done. His secret life had been exposed, and he was now in the hands of the law. After a lengthy trial, Zhong's fate was decided. In 2023, he was sentenced to a year and a day in prison. It was a relatively light sentence considering the magnitude of his crimes, but it marked the end of an era. James Zhong, once a mastermind of the crypto world, was sentenced to a year and a day in prison, marking the end of a decade-long saga.